Text 0868 104 106. Can I stay with animals, actually? Can I stay with pets and what have you, and pet-related matters? Because I mentioned on yesterday's programme that I was contacted by Louise Griffey. She is a grief recovery specialist and the founder of Light After Loss. And if I were to tell you that it specialises in helping people through pet loss and the grief that people go through having lost a pet that they loved. I thought it was an amazing concept, to be quite honest with you, because we've all been through that kind of grief, you know, primarily, but not exclusively, the loss of the family dog. But Louise joins me by phone. Louise, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. But I imagine it's not just dogs, pet dogs. Sure, it's not.
Of course not. I mean, a lot of my clients contact me when they have lost cats, horses, rabbits, all kinds of animals that people have connections to. And also, it's not just about death, because many of our animal companions, you know, we experience loss due to pets disappearing, pets being stolen, pets having to be surrendered. So there's just so much to speak about when it comes to loss of a pet.
Because it can be like a family member, you know, the devastating loss of them not being there. I mean, for a long time afterwards, you go in your front door and it hits you again when they're not there to greet you, kind of grief, isn't it?
Of course. And when we are with our animals day in, day out, daily, we are responsible for keeping these animals alive. They're living beings, and we create really strong connections and bonds with them. Sometimes a lot of people, even that live on their own, would have stronger bonds and connections with their animals than with some humans in their life. So it really is the most unrecognised, discounted form of grief, in my opinion. Oh my God, that is such an important aspect. You could have somebody, not necessarily elderly, but perhaps living alone, and their dog or their cat was the centre of their universe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Completely. You're right. And how do you help then? So what I specialise is I help people with grief and loss experiences, and that would include all kinds of loss: death of a loved one, ending of a relationship, ending of a marriage, health loss, career loss. But I've chosen to specialise in pet loss due to my own personal experience. Both of my dogs passed away within 24 hours of each other back in 2019. So just before the start of the COVID-19 virus, and I found myself deep in grief and could not find specialised help. Therapy and counselling are fantastic, but specialised pet loss help was not available in Ireland. So I went on to train with a US company called the Grief Recovery Institute, and I now help others, which is, it's just so amazing that I can do this for others that are experiencing this. And I work completely online, so I can help people throughout the world, which is fantastic.
What is there? Is it like a 6-step, 10-step, 12-step program or something?
These are, yes, it's an educational program, but they have huge therapeutic benefits, Neil, and it can range between a 6-week and 8-week kind of programs. And I am teaching people about grief, about the myths, the misinformation, and then there is a evidence-based program that can help people move through grief and recover from the stuck grief that they have inside.
And can it be stuck? Because just listening to you there and thoughts coming into my own head that the only thing really that will make it better is time.
That is a huge myth, and I love that you brought that up, Neil, because we all know the saying, time heals all wounds, and we've been told this throughout generations. So it's probably responsible for more heartache than any other single wrong idea in our society. And time alone cannot heal emotional pain. It is the actions and choices we make within that time that help us. But it
can. I mean, we all went through some kind of loss in our lives. Even up till now, the death of my mother was devastating, but it doesn't hurt as much as it did the first year. Second year was a bit better. 10, 15 years later, yeah, I mean, I still mourn her, but I remember her fondly now, but without that hole in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I suppose some people may process grief in different ways, and you may have had lots of supportive people around you and so on. But some people, unfortunately, they don't, and that's where I'm coming from when I say that the time can't heal alone itself. So I suppose there are other kind of myths out there when it comes, especially with pet loss, because I feel that people are judged a lot, and sometimes people are taught to kind of feel weak because they are grieving the loss of a pet.
And again, that it gets me thinking, that some people might say to a friend or whatever, a colleague, that they're devastated or they're absolutely heartbroken because their pet has died, their dog or what have you, and the other just doesn't get it, kind of thing, because it's not a human being.
Yes, and it's okay. A lot of people don't know what to say, and remember that that's okay, and just to be honest and just to show the person that you care. And my advice would be for someone that is wondering what to do or how to help someone that's going through pet loss, just to listen without judgment, and don't forget to check in regularly, even months after the initial loss, when people really need it. And even doing something like bring a cooked meal, go for a walk, do a bit of shopping for them is just huge. Buy them a pet memorial gift. There are so many things that people can do, because we all don't know what to say, but it's okay just to be there for someone.
Is it particularly hard to grieve for somebody it was just them and the dog, and then the dog is gone and it's the loss of the dog, but there's overwhelming loneliness that it replaces?
Of course, and even if somebody is going through a sudden death, of a pet, trying to speak or find someone to trust and feel safe with opening up to can be really difficult, because numbness and shock are completely normal responses to the death of an animal companion. And along with those responses comes with disrupted sleep patterns, changing in eating habits, and just a total roller coaster of emotional energy. And isolation is such a huge problem. So that's where a lot of people kind of reach out to me, where they feel that they can't speak to someone or don't have anybody that they feel safe or trust to kind of open up to.
Is the secret to wait a little time and then get another dog or another cat, or am I being cold in saying that?
Well, everybody is completely individual and unique in their own grieving patterns, but my advice would be, if you feel that you have love in your heart to give to another animal companion, totally. But if you feel that you are totally consumed and tormented by the death of your pet, and that you can't feel joy in your life, that's when I say that reaching out for help, be that a counsellor, be that a pet loss specialist, and actually that can help people to get to a place where they can welcome a new pet into their lives.
No, I mean, I was attracted to your email because I'd never heard of pet loss counselling or pet loss support groups. I think you're putting together a program. Are you doing a 6-week online group, is it, to help people?
Yes, the group actually started last week, but I have groups that are kind of ongoing, and I have one-on-one online programs as well that I can facilitate for people. I have a lot of details and helpful information over on my Instagram page. It's @_light_after-loss, or people can contact me, of course, through the website,
which is www.lightafterloss.ie. I'd love to hear about the uptake of people getting in touch with you. Will you come back to me and let me know how it goes? Obviously there's some form of cost involved, but I'd love people to work that out with you directly. But do come back and let me know how the course goes.
I will do, Neil. Thank you so much.
All right, Louise. Regards to you and everybody up Dunamore Way. Appreciate you taking the call. Pet loss grief recovery specialist. That was the first